Welcome to FSMP New Pilot Orientation Number 4, Pilot Resources. I'm Blurxyzer. My user call sign is Blur in the FSMP community. You may have come in the multiplayer section a couple of times and realize that you didn't know the basic of handling the aircraft, basic aviation knowledge, and the required chart when flying in the pro section like FSMP. You are eager to know where you can gain those skill and knowledge in order to keep up with all other pilot and controller online. In this orientation video, I'll show you some of the essential resources where you have access to gain such a skill and knowledge. Resources such as Flight Simulator 10 Learning Center right out of the box, skyvector.com for airport weather informations, and flyaware.com for the airport diagram and other chart. Okay, let's get on with it. Let's go to Flight Simulator 10. You might have just got this as a birthday gift or Christmas present recently, and you're so excited that you flew a few free flight in the single player mode and tried a couple of missions right after you finished installing FS10. Then you jump right into multiplayer mode trying to check out the air traffic control feature and to fly with other players online. After a few minutes in the section, you realize that there is a lot more than just moving the joystick and pushing the right hotkey to fly. In the Learning Center, you may have skimmed through a couple of sections like Aerodynamic Maneuver, Navigations, Autopilot, Controlling the Engines, Cockpit Basics, Controlling the Engines, and Radio. There are a lot of readings. And you don't see a lot of practical illustration and demonstration of how these work. It comes to no surprise to me that many people have forgot to check out the flying lesson in the Learning Center. In the lessons, there are 5 steps: student pilot, private pilot, instrument pilot, commercial pilots, and airline transport pilots. Exactly the same way for anyone who is pursuing airline pilot as his or her career choice in real life. Rob Mikados had put together a very good flying lesson here. For you as a simulation pilot, it is recommended that you start from the student pilot and work your way to airline transport pilot. In the student pilot sections, you will learn what each of the cockpit instrument does, how to read and use it while learning a few basic airplane maneuvers, showing here: flying straight and level flight, turn, climbs and descent, show flights, takeoff, and landings. Once you have completed the lesson number 7, you will earn Flight Simulator 10 first solo flight certifications. When you are learning how to drive a car, you will need to know all the road signs before you take your driver license test and driving on the road. The same thing here. This private pilot section will show you the basic of reading the airport diagrams, signs, some of the other advanced airplane handling skills, basic navigations, and to learn the VFR traffic patterns. Please remember, there is no such a thing as an IFR traffic patterns. Now, after you have successfully completed the private pilot check right, you will have more confidence flying in the sections. You won't be asking other pilot, how do I change the radio frequency, how do I do this, and how do I do that? Now let's go to skyvector.com. Every Saturday or a special event, the server was set to simulate weather for IFR Saturday or other special events conditions. Besides these, the server is almost always set with the real-world weather conditions. As a pilot, you will want to check the weather as part of your pre-flight planning. Tuning the airport ATIS is a very good routine practice, When the server is in the real world conditions, Skyvector.com is an added resource to check out the airport weather report and pre-plan your flight. By turning on the layer text weather icon, you will see a bunch of colored dots appear. METAR is known as Meteorological Aerodrome Report, and TAF, that is known as Terminal Aerodrome Forecast. Both of these show the airport weather and other information that a pilot will be interested. And we are here at Kennedy International Airport. After if you zoom and pan to make sure that you have JFK Center on your screen, you can hover your mouse over it and it will show you the weather station at Kennedy International Airport. I will talk about the VFR weather minimum in Class Bravo airspace and understand a few basics of these METAR code in the next video. After you know the weather, you have planned your flight and have filed your flight plan in the chat box. You look at the top view and you can't see any letter or number identification for each of the taxiway. And you're probably wondering how other pilots know where to turn, which taxiway is Alpha or Echo 7s to get to the active runway. In Multiplayer, there isn't any yellow dash line for progressive taxi like the way you would in the single player mode. You could ask for progressive taxi from the controller, but when the traffic is busy, you're most likely on your own. Skyvector has the airport diagram. Click the icon, JFK. Now I'm going to show you another website, flightaware.com. Click Pilot Resources. In here you type the 4-letter airport code. If you don't know the code, you can browse the airport code by state. It's down here in New York. And JFK. There. Now you always want to remember that the airport code is always 4-letter code, and JFK is started with the kilo, so that will be Kilo Juliet Foxtrot Kilo. Click Map and Diagram tab and click on the airport diagram. Click Download PDF, and so that way you can save it for your own future reference or print it out so that you will have it in front of you when ground controller give you the taxi instructions. Now this is what I have, and I have rotated page 90 degrees clockwise, so I have the orientation north facing up. So in the flight simulator, you will also want to do the same thing to make sure your north orientation is also pointing up the top of the screen as well. So that way you don't get disoriented of where your location in relationship to what you're looking at on the airport diagram. So if you have your destination airport diagram ahead of time, let's say I'm gonna fly to KIAD, which is Dulles in Washington DC, then you will know the added frequency number for the airport diagram you're arriving. But there is a Flight Simulator 10 glitch. I'll talk about how to get around this glitch in the next video, along with the VFR weather minimum and how to read the METAR code. Thank you for watching. Stay connected. Let's keep the flight simulator flying high.